it definitely bothers me when I see all these people rallying for change, justice, and acceptance and rights. Yeah, I check their profiles, and absolutely none of these people are antinatalists or devoted child-free individuals. The biased optimism and the toxic positivity is jammed so deep into your faces that it is blinding you from the fact that your child or your children's children could turn out to be evil people or victims of the exact thing you're fighting against. Let's say you're an activist that stands against, I don't know, child abuse. If you have a child, that kid could grow up to be abusive as fuck to their own kid, and there's nothing you can do to stop it now. It's too late. You can, my child won't be like this or that. Since when can you niggas predict the future? What world am I living in where you think you can predict what your child will and will not do? You can simply avoid this possibility by not having kids. It's literally so simple. Entropy and probability are the driving factors of all the violence and destruction of the world. And what I mean by that is there are so many people on this earth that it is pretty much impossible for there to not be any violence. All these people on the earth, all of these people, there's no way there can just be everyone being good. There's always, and I mean always, going to be someone to fuck it up for everyone else. There's always going to be a nigga that wants to shoot up his school. There's always going to be a nigga that wants to break into your house and rob you, steal your belongings. There's always going to be a nigga that is going to grow up to rape and harass women. There's always going to be niggas that grow up to become serial killers, drug addicts, abuse victims, homeless people, disease spreaders, reckless drivers, terrorists, gangs, thieves, etc., etc. To put it in simple terms, there are too many people existing for everybody to be good to one another. So if you have kids, you are doing nothing but adding fuel to the fire. Let's do some math real quick. Let's do some basic common sense that the average human, well, should I say, the average breeder fails to understand. Having children means increasing probability. And a higher probability does nothing but increase the chances of you creating someone, or your kids creating someone, that will be a menace to society. Literally, the only form of activism that could solve all the problems in the world is antinatalism, but you mindless breeders and activists who want to see change in the world are too blind and stupid to realize that creating more people only creates more problems. Think about it. It's 2022. All this evolution, all this history, all these, centuries, decades, and whatever, and we're still fighting for things like abortion rights, racial equality, LGBT acceptance. We're fighting against gun violence, against rape, against abuse, child abuse, domestic abuse, sexual assault. We're fighting against inflation, gas prices, all these problems, the constant raising of rent, etc., etc. Yet you breeders continue to create more and more victims, more and more slaves. You continue to create more slaves that will fall victim to the evils of the world. Or you create people that will be the ones committing the evils in the world. Think about it. Think about this. Somebody is giving birth to all these crazy evil people. Somebody gave birth to Hitler. Somebody gave birth to Osama bin Laden. Somebody gave birth to Ted Bundy. Somebody gave birth to Dennis Rader. Somebody gave birth to the Boston bomber. Somebody gave birth to George Floyd's killers. Somebody's giving birth to all these racist, homophobic, sexist, evil people. Somebody's giving birth to all these boys that grow up to shoot up their own schools. Somebody gave birth to the person who scammed you out of your money. Somebody gave birth to the idiot who decided to drink and drive and killed innocent people. Some people are giving birth to people who grow up, have terrible lives, are depressed from work and stress, and all this pressure, and then they one day kill themselves. Somebody gave birth to that abusive partner of yours. Any person that has ever made your life a living hell or caused a downfall for you, someone gave birth to them. The point I'm trying to make here is that all the terrible people that exist in this world or that will exist in the future, they will all exist and have the chance to commence their evil crimes because you idiots will give birth to them. You might sit here and think, well, my child isn't going to be like that. You cannot predict the future. You niggas cannot predict the future. How can you confirm to me that your child won't grow up to become a rapist or a kidnapper or someone that, runs over protesters because they're protesting against something he disagrees with, or just a plain old robber or a home invader or a murderer, a menace to society, a menace to their own neighborhood, killing their fellow brethren over petty shit, shooting people because they owed them $5 or some bullshit like that. Like I said, breeding makes all activism pointless. I have said this in the past, and I'll say it again. Instead of trying to stop all these problems, how about let's get rid of the source of the problem, aka humans. Let's stop creating more of each other. Let's stop creating endless probabilities, endless possibilities, and chances for people to grow up to cause or inflict unnecessary suffering, evil, and destruction upon one another. If something is causing more harm than good, then it is best to stop trying and just get rid of that thing in a whole. Let me give one more example. Okay? If I had a child, and this may sound confusing, if I had a child and my child met a woman and they together had a child, right? My grandson. And then that child's brother grows up and has kids of his own, my great-grandson. That kid that he had can grow up to rape and torture or kill innocent women, or rob and steal from people, or blow shit up. Let's say he grows up to torture, rape, and kill innocent women, right? Those women that have fallen victim to him could have avoided their terrible fate if their parents wouldn't have had given birth to them. And all of this, you see what probability does? All of this could have been avoided if I was smart enough, unlike you breeders, to realize that creating kids just creates more possibilities of crime and violence to occur. Just because you or your child doesn't commit an evil crime, who's to say that someone further down the line of your bloodline will do something evil, like blow up a building and kill 312 people, for example? There's too much probability and possibility in this world. There's way too much. If no one has kids, then there will eventually be no more people on Earth, and there will never be any suffering ever again. It's literally that simple. Why can't you niggas understand the basic laws of probability and entropy? High probability plus infinite entropy is the formula for never-ending possibilities. These possibilities include violence, evil, crime, suffering, and destruction on innocent souls. Now, before I end the video here, I want you people who are planning to have kids to ask yourself this one question. Ask yourself this. Will having children of my own spiral into people that grow up to commit violence on the future generation? Or will my children grow up to become victims of violence by other people's children? Will you create victims, or will you create perpetrators? Or will you create witnesses? Or will you create slaves? There's not really a good outcome for anybody on this earth. You will be a victim, a witness, or a perpetrator. I mean, just look at the news or any social media platform. Look at all these niggas causing destruction to the world and destroying everything humans have worked for. Shooters, terrorists, robbers, rapists, serial killers, thieves, scammers, liars and crackheads, drug addicts, crazy people, riots, fights, and mass shootings, bombings, abused children, raped women, raped men, raped children, all the blood spilled, all the sex trafficked girls and sex trafficked boys and children, all these innocent bystanders of other people's crimes, and all the fallen soldiers. Ask yourself, is this really a world I want to put my child into? You're fucking sick in the head. If you can see all this craziness happening and decide, you know what, yeah, I think I want to bring a baby here. That's a good idea. You're crazy. You niggas are crazy. I spent most of my entire life wondering, why do people want to bring kids into this madness? This world is crazy. Every single day on the news and social media, something crazy happening. This person ran this person over. This person shot and robbed these people. Like, come on now. Come on. Am I missing something here? Your activism means nothing if you're going to just drag innocent victims out of the void and throw them directly into the madness that we see on a daily basis. You're literally doing something. By having kids, you're literally doing something you don't have to do that will bring suffering upon an innocent soul. All the kids that I could have right now, which I don't, I gladly and proudly have 0. Thank you very much. All the kids that I could have, right? They're in the void. They're not experiencing suffering. They're not experiencing all the craziness that goes on in this world. And they don't have to. I understand that there's good things in the world, but with the good things comes the bad. And I don't want my child to experience one if they have to experience the other. That's not fair. Just like this world, it's not fair. It's unfair. So I'm not going to bring anybody here. That's fucked up. That's stupid. Having kids is just ridiculous. Why would you ever want to do that? I think I'm done ranting. As always, thank you for listening, and peace be to all.